you respect Putin?
I do respect him.
Do you? Why?
He's a leader of his country.
A $7 million yacht with gold-plated walls. A secret palace on the Black Sea worth over $1.3 billion. And a collection of watches that could buy a private island. This isn't a Hollywood movie. This is the real billionaire life of Vladimir Putin. A man who doesn't just lead a country. He commands an empire built on secrecy, excess, and untouchable power. And what you're about to see will shock you. Before the tailored suits, the billion-dollar palaces, and the private motorcades, there was a boy in a Soviet apartment block, fighting to survive. Born in 1952 in Leningrad, now St. Petersburg, Vladimir Putin grew up in a cramped communal flat in a post-war city still scarred by siege and starvation. The streets were cold, violent, merciless, and so was the lesson young Putin learned early on. If a fight is inevitable, strike first. That phrase could become more than advice. It would become a philosophy. He studied judo and sambo with near-religious discipline, eventually earning a black belt, one of the few Russian leaders to do so. But it wasn't just about sport. It was about control, precision, dominance. This obsession with strength bled into his public image. As president, Putin didn't just lead, he performed. We've seen him riding horses shirtless through Siberia, wrestling bears in photo ops, diving to the bottom of lakes and submarines, shooting tranquilizers at wild tigers. The message was always clear. I am in command of myself, of my country, of nature itself. While other world leaders shake hands, Putin makes statements without saying a word. Every pose, every photo, every moment is calculated. It's not vanity, it's branding. The brand? Unbreakable strength, wrapped in cold silence. Anchored quietly in the Italian port of Marina di Carrara, behind layers of shell companies and coded documents, rests one of the most extravagant symbols of hidden power on Earth, the Scheherazade, a name borrowed from the mythical queen who told 1,000 tales. Fitting, because this yacht tells a story all its own. At a staggering $700 million, the Scheherazade is not just a vessel, it's a floating fortress of wealth. 2 helipads, a full spa, a cinema room wrapped in velvet, marble floors, gold fixtures, and a staff of 70 ready to serve at a moment's notice. Its decks stretch 140 meters, longer than a football field, with walls said to be lined in custom Italian leather and rare woods flown in from Africa and Southeast Asia. Officially, the owner remains a mystery, but US intelligence agencies and anti-corruption investigators believe it belongs to one man, and one man only, Vladimir Putin. In 2022, the yacht was seized by Italian authorities amid a sweeping international sanctions. But despite the freeze, no direct evidence tied it to Putin. Why? Because he never holds assets in his name. Ownership is smoke and mirrors. His empire isn't built on signatures. It's built on loyalty and layers of legal fog. And the Scheherazade floats silently among them, like a ghost ship of the ultra-elite. Not on Instagram, not in the press, but always within reach of the man who controls it all. In the world of heads of state, luxury vehicles are expected. Rolls-Royce, Bentley, Maybach. But Vladimir Putin doesn't settle for the off-shelf opulence. His vehicle of choice? A machine designed not just for comfort, but for survival. Enter the Aru Senat. Built by Russia's NAMI Institute, the Aru Senat is a handcrafted 6.5-ton fortress on wheels. The price tag? Around $500,000, though money is hardly the point. This sedan is bulletproof, blast-resistant, even tested to withstand chemical and biological attacks. The doors close with the sound of a bank vault. The interior? Luxurious, yes, but more importantly, sealed, secure, and sovereign. This is not a car. This is an extension of the Kremlin itself. It took over 60 prototypes to perfect the final design, each tested under extreme conditions: Arctic cold, scorching heat, ballistic trials, until it met one man's standard: absolute invulnerability. And it's not just Putin who's impressed. When Kim Jong-un visited Russia, he reportedly asked to ride in the Senat himself. Word has it, he left speechless. Unlike Western limousines, which symbolize elegance and excess, the Sonat sends a different message. Come at me, I dare you. Its presence is not meant to charm, it's meant to intimidate. Because when you're Vladimir Putin, luxury is not a statement, it's a weapon. Perched high on the cliffs of Russia's southern coast, shrouded by dense forest and layers of secrecy, lies a palace so extravagant, it defies logic. A private estate, hidden from satellite view, larger than 39 Buckingham palaces combined, and reportedly worth over $1.3 billion. Locals call it Putin's Palace. But this isn't just real estate, it's an empire within an empire. Inside, a grand marble staircase, Italian frescoes, a private casino, a hookah lounge with a pole dancing stage, a full-size theater, a wine cellar carved into the cliffside, and bathrooms fitted with $12,000 toilet brushes. Outside, manicured gardens blend into nature with military precision, Japanese landscapes, hidden helipads, and security systems so advanced the surrounding airspace is restricted. Officially, the Kremlin denies Putin any connection. On paper, the property is owned by friends and oligarchs, but leaked blueprints and insider testimonies tell a different story. In 2021, a video investigation by Russian opposition figure Alexei Navalny revealed drone footage and architectural layouts that stunned the world. The palace wasn't a rumor, it was real, and it was protected like a state secret. Even underground tunnels led to private beach access, away from all eyes. Because for Putin, privacy is not luxury, it's control. And this palace, buried in opulence and silence, may be the most symbolic piece of his dominion yet. Not just a retreat, but a throne carved into the cliffs. For most people, a watch is just that, a way to tell time. But for Vladimir Putin, time is a message, a quiet assertion of power, a symbol of order, a glimpse into the psyche of a man who commands every second like a general commands troops. His wrist has carried some of the most exclusive timepieces in the world, often valued higher than most people's homes. At the heart of his collection is the A Lange und Zune turbograph pour le mérite, a German masterpiece worth over $500,000. Crafted in platinum, with a 2 billion mechanism and perpetual calendar, only 51 were ever made. Putin owns one. Then there's the Patek Philippe Perpetual Calendar Ref 3974, another marvel of horology, valued at $60,000 to $100,000 depending on condition and gold weight. Putin's is flawless, of course. And unlike other collectors who lock their watches in vaults, Putin wears them. In fact, he's been seen casually gifting luxury watches, once removing a $10,500 Blapan Lehman Aqualung from his wrist and handing it to a factory worker, on camera, without a word. These aren't just watches, they're power signals. A way to say, I have what I want, when I want, and I can give it away without blinking. And yet, what's most fascinating isn't what the watches say about wealth, it's what they say about control. Because when you're Vladimir Putin, even time ticks to your will. Tucked away on a remote island in the Gulf of Finland, surrounded by icy waters and dense forest, sits a mansion that looks more like a fairy tale than a fortress. This is Villa Selgren, a century-old estate once forgotten by time, now whispered to be one of Vladimir Putin's most secret and sacred retreats. Built in 1913 by the famed Finnish architect Uno Ullberg, the villa was originally a noble summer home, but in 2010, something changed. Massive restoration began, discreet, meticulous, and expensive. Walls were lined with gold leaf detailing, intricate wood carvings returned to life, and a private indoor pool was installed, finished with glimmering, custom mosaic tilework, though the deed lists a long-time associate as owner. Aerial photography and local reports suggest the truth. This island estate is the personal getaway of the Russian president himself. No guards in sight, no flashing lights, just silence, snow, and solitude. It's a place far from the eyes of the Kremlin, the press, and the public. A kingdom without a crown, where the king can walk unseen. Unlike the Grand Palace on the Black Sea, Villa Selgren isn't about excess, it's about escape. A space not built to impress the world, but to disappear from it. because even emperors of shadow need somewhere to vanish. And this is where Putin goes to be alone with the empire he never officially owns. No flashy logos, no bold designer statements. Putin doesn't wear his power, he projects it. His wardrobe is a masterclass in calculated minimalism. Navy blues, charcoal grays, jet blacks. Always tailored, always sharp, always subdued. To the untrained eye, it might seem ordinary, but that's the brilliance of it. Every thread is deliberate, every lapel, every perfectly symmetrical tie knot speaks the language of quiet authority. This isn't fashion, it's strategy. While Western leaders flirt with trend and branding, Putin's attire remains timeless, even emotionless, because for him, the goal isn't to impress, it's to intimidate through restraint. In a rare moment of candor at a youth forum in Crimea, he once said, "I try to dress appropriately when I leave my office, but I don't think too much about fashion." And yet, his suits are custom-made by Russia's most exclusive tailors, the fabric imported, the fit flawless. It's the uniform of a man who doesn't chase attention, but commands it. Because when you've been in power for over 2 decades, you don't dress to stand out, you dress to endure. In Putin's world, power's never just political, it's personal. Even his love life, or what little the world knows of it, is wrapped in the same calculated silence that defines his empire. In 2013, after nearly 30 years of marriage, Vladimir Putin quietly divorced his wife, Lyudmila, during an intermission at the ballet. There were no emotional statements, no scandal, just an announcement. Cold, clinical, complete. Since then, rumors have swirled like fog around one name, Alina Kabayeva, an Olympic gold medalist in rhythmic gymnastics. Kabayeva is more than a national icon. She's now the head of Russia's largest media conglomerate, the National Media Group, a role that's raised more than a few eyebrows. No journalistic background, no media experience, and yet she holds the keys to much of Russia's information machine. Coincidence? Or something more? Insiders whisper of children born in total secrecy, luxury apartments gifted under aliases, and sightings in private compounds deep in the Russian countryside. But nothing is confirmed, nothing is denied, and that's exactly how Putin likes it. Because when image is your most valuable weapon, even romance becomes part of the narrative. To the world, he is single, untethered, a man above personal distraction. But behind closed doors, perhaps his most delicate game of power is the one we never truly see. Because love, in Putin's world, isn't just emotion, it's another tool in the arsenal of control. His fortune is untraceable, his assets untouchable, his power absolute. Vladimir Putin doesn't flaunt wealth, he hides it in plain sight. Yachts, palaces, watches, women, each piece carefully placed, like a grand game of chess. And while the world debates who's the richest man alive, Putin remains silent and in control. Because true power doesn't ask for attention, it doesn't sparkle, it dominates from the shadows. And this is just the surface of the empire he's built. If you enjoyed this video about Putin's eccentric and insane life, wait until you see the extravagant mansions of Donald Trump. Tap the next video, you're going to love it. Number 5. Trump Winery, Charlottesville, Virginia. Yes, Donald Trump owns a winery, and no, he's not exactly stomping grapes in the backyard, but the story behind this place is peak Trump. Back in 2011, Trump swooped in and bought a 1,100-acre estate in Virginia's wine country for just $8.5 million. A bargain deal for land that could be worth up to $170 million. Included in the deal? 450 acres of vineyards, a wine operation, and a literal mansion called Albemarle House. This 45-room estate is now part of the Trump Hotel's collection and rents out for a cool $299 a night, if you want to live like political royalty for an evening. But here's where it gets even more Trumpian. He didn't just buy it, he handed the entire operation to his son Eric, who now owns it under the name Trump Winery. But fun fact, the website quietly notes that Trump Winery is a registered trademark of Eric Trump Wine Manufacturing LLC. The translation? It's technically not part of Donald Trump's business empire despite the name, the branding, and the 10-foot letters spelling Trump at the entrance. And while Trump once claimed he owned one of the largest wineries in the United States,
I own actually one of the largest wineries in the United States. It's in Charlottesville.
a statement that's been, let's say, generously disputed, the property does deliver on luxury. Think rolling hills, marble bathrooms, and tastings that feel more like presidential briefings. It's the kind of place where a wine glass isn't just a glass, it's a statement. And that's exactly what makes it a Trump favorite. Number 4. Seven Springs, Bedford, New York. Compared to Trump's other gold-drenched palaces, Seven Springs almost feels modest. But let's not get carried away. It still has 60 rooms, 3 swimming pools, a bowling alley, and sits on 213 acres of pristine countryside just outside Manhattan. Trump bought this estate back in 1996 for just $7.5 million, pocket change by his standards. His original plan? Turn it into a world-class golf resort, but that idea quietly disappeared, and today it serves a different purpose, a private family getaway, and a curious tax write-off. The mansion itself was built in 1919 by Eugene Mayerth, the guy who ran the Federal Reserve and owned the Washington Post. So yes, it's got history, legacy, and just enough mystery to feel like the setting of a political drama. The house spans over 50,000 square feet, with a grand staircase, crystal chandeliers, wood-paneled libraries, and fireplaces big enough to roast a small cow. But like anything with Trump's name on it, Seven Springs comes with a headline or two. In 2009, Trump allegedly let Muammar Gaddafi, yes, the Gaddafi, camp out in a tent on the property after no hotel in New York would host him during a UN visit. Diplomacy meets glamping. Trump style. Oh, and in 2021, the estate became the focus of a criminal investigation. Trump reportedly claimed the property was worth over $290 million. On paper. Meanwhile, Forbes estimated it's closer to $24 million. That's not just optimistic accounting, that's art. When questioned, the Trump Organization defended the valuation with the same energy you'd expect from someone selling a used Lamborghini with no engine. It's rare. Still, despite all the drama, Seven Springs remains one of Trump's quietest retreats. No gold cherubs, no fountains, just rolling hills, old money vibes, and the occasional international dictator in a tent. Number 3. Trump National Golf Club, Bedminster, New Jersey. Imagine having your own private golf club, and not just for tea time, but as your personal summer hideaway, wedding venue, presidential headquarters, and at one point, your future burial site. Welcome to Trump National Golf Club in Bedminster, New Jersey. This isn't just a country club, it's a Trump-style fortress. A sprawling, ultra-exclusive estate with a championship golf course, private villas, Secret Service, ready infrastructure, and enough marble to make Caesar blush. Membership? Starts at a cool $350,000 just to join. Then you pay more for the privilege of spending time there. Sounds about right. Now, this property holds a special place in Trump world. During his presidency, it was dubbed the Summer White House. He'd escape Washington to host dignitaries, hold press conferences, and swing a few rounds between meetings. Rumor has it he preferred the view from the 18th hole over the one from the Oval Office. Honestly, can you blame him? The main clubhouse is a colonial-style mansion, surrounded by rolling greens, hedges trimmed with military precision, and armed security blending into the scenery. Trump even had private cottages built for the family, including the one where Ivanka got married in 2009. Picture white roses, crystal chandeliers, and a reception tent that probably cost more than the average American home. But perhaps the most Trump detail of all? He once announced that he wanted to be buried on the property. Yes, right there, on the golf course forever part of the green. Later, he changed his final resting place to Mar-a-Lago. But for a while, this was the chosen plot. And honestly, only Trump would look at a golf club and say, you know what this needs? A mausoleum. Despite the headlines and the eyebrow-raising decisions, Bedminster remains one of Trump's top sanctuaries. It's quiet, controlled, hyper-exclusive, and most importantly, it's his. No press, no protesters, just golf, steak, and strategy sessions under a chandelier. And as far as presidential escapes go, it's not Camp David, it's Camp Donald. Number 2. Trump Tower Penthouse, Manhattan, New York. If Versailles had a baby with a Las Vegas casino and raised it in Manhattan, you'd get the Trump Tower Penthouse. Perched at the very top of the iconic Trump Tower on 5th Avenue, this triplex apartment is less of a home and more of a gold-plated monument to one man's ego. Estimated to be worth over $200 million, the place has 3 floors, walls dripping in 24-karat gold, and ceilings painted with full-blown Greek mythology scenes. Yes, actual clouds, angels, and gods hovering above your living room. Trump moved in during the 80s with Ivania, then later lived there briefly with Melania before relocating to the White House in 2017. But don't worry, this apartment never stopped being extra. The interior was designed by Angelo Donghia, a man so fancy he was once dubbed the Saint Laurent of sofas. And it shows. Think custom crystal chandeliers, polished bronze railings, chocolate-toned marble, and enough mirrored walls to make you never forget who's king. Let's talk about features. The entryway has an antique clock sitting on a hand-carved gold inlaid console. The breakfast room? Gold goblets, gold trays, gold juice glasses, because apparently orange juice tastes better when it's surrounded by wealth. Melania's office? Oh, just a Renoir painting, a Louis Vuitton jewelry box, and a Louis XIV inspired desk. Casual. And of course, no Trump space is complete without some brand identity. You've got the Trump family coat of arms, portraits of the family including the late Fred Trump, and even a marble fireplace crowned by a statue of Apollo, riding a chariot pulled by mythological horses. It's not a living room, it's a declaration of war on minimalism. Even Forbes couldn't help but roast the space. In 2016, they called it dictator chic, a style somewhere between oil tycoon and Eastern European oligarch. And honestly, they weren't wrong. This place makes Scarface's mansion look modest. But whether you love it or hate it, one thing is undeniable. The Trump Tower Penthouse is unforgettable. It's loud, unapologetic, and designed for one purpose: to impress, intimidate, and Instagram. Number 1. Mar-a-Lago, Palm Beach, Florida. If there's one place that screams Trump Kingdom, it's Mar-a-Lago. Forget Camp David. This is the Winter White House, the political playground, the power palace, and yes, his actual home. Built in the 1920s by serial heiress Marjorie Merriweather Post, this 114-room Spanish-style estate is anchored right on the Florida coast, armed with coral rock, hurricane-proof steel, and more imported marble than a Roman cathedral. It's grand, it's historical, it's excessive. In other words, it was destined to end up in Trump's hands. In 1985, Trump bought the entire property, fully furnished for less than $10 million. Today, it's a private club where membership costs $200,000 just to walk in the door, plus annual fees of $14,000. And what do you get for that? Oh, just exclusive access to the private beach, pools, spa, tennis courts, ballrooms, and the chance to rub shoulders with billionaires, senators, and maybe even a former president in golf attire. But Mar-a-Lago isn't just luxury, it's power in real estate form. During his presidency, Trump turned this place into a diplomatic hotspot. He hosted Chinese President Xi Jinping here over chocolate cake, held political fundraisers, and plotted his comeback campaign like a Bond villain with a better tan. And let's not forget 2022, when the FBI raided the estate and found over 100 classified documents stored in, wait for it, closets and storage rooms. That's right, national secrets nestled between beach towels and patio cushions. Mar-a-Lago went from resort to crime scene without missing a single brunch reservation. But controversy aside, this place is the epicenter of Trump world. The chandeliers sparkle with ambition, the gardens are manicured for press conferences, and every hallway whispers, you're in the presence of a man who once put his name on bottled water. Whether it's for a political rally, a black tie gala, or just another weekend on the coast, Mar-a-Lago isn't just a home, it's a brand, a statement, and a fortress of fame. And that's why it takes the crown as Trump's #1 most iconic residence. You've seen the gold, the golf, and the glamour, But what about the First Lady of Luxury? Melania Trump lives a life even more private and just as extravagant. Click on the next video to uncover how she really feels behind the scenes. Trust me, you haven't seen anything yet.